Or if he gets 2 Banshees, he can do harass at the same time. But it definitely looks like a Banshee play right now. Yep, there's a Banshee. I'm curious to see whether he'll get cloaking for that once. Yes, yep, there's the cloaking being researched.
Cloaked Banshees are extremely effective, obviously, if the opponent doesn't have detection, but we do see a robotics facility going down now for Skizzle, so he's definitely going to be able to handle this Cloaked Banshee play.
If he gets an Observer out really quick, and he's seeing as though he just put down the robotics bay, if he gets down an Observer, I'm gonna guess he may be cheating, not pinning him anything, but he might be cheating. Depends on how many, like, what units he gets, and
you almost always see players at this level. You get an Observer first, though.
Yeah.
Don't call him out.
I'm not calling him out for sure. But anyway, we do see his factory come in. This is actually a pretty common thing for some Terran players to be able to send like a factory scout in, but he did scan, so he sees all there is to see.
Yeah, I don't really see the purpose of sending that factory scout right after you scan, and then he's going to have this Banshee who's going to be able to poke around, see what's going on.
The Teglot might actually get taken down, and ooh, if these units can swarm into the base, ooh, he chooses not to. There are a lot of Marines actually, which could take down this little force. I think he might might want to rebuild that supply depot, or might put down another barracks, perhaps.
Meanwhile, this one Banshee is doing tons of damage to the mineral line, keeping the probes off of it entirely. Skizzle does have a few stalkers up, and they are going to go after that Banshee, but he does now have cloak, and he does use it.
Oh, there is a cloak, and there is no Observer. Oh, Observer! Oh, wow. Observer comes out right in the nick of time. Perfect play right there. And this factory is going to go in and like try to get a couple of good scouting in, and honestly, these factories have a lot of health if you look at it, like at least 250 more than the barracks, so they can take a good amount of hits before they die. And then another Observer popping out for Skizzle here, so he's gonna want as much. I think he's opting to get as much vision of the map as he possibly can. 2 more Banshees going around the side to the back while Skizzle is distracted, so they could do so much damage here.
Of course, 2 Banshees can one-shot probes, so he will be able to rip through these probes really fast with that move, shoot, micro.
There is an Observer out, so this cloak isn't going to help as much.
Ooh, one of the Banshees dies. Very important.
One goes down. Another Banshee is on the way, though, so might help.
Yeah, but he just seems to be massing up a lot of Banshees, and this isn't going to be effective because, of course, with these Stalkers and Observers that he's got out now, he's going to be able to defend himself entirely from this, and he's on 2 bases while his Terran opponent is only on 1. Taking a look at the income tab, we see that there is a pretty, actually significant lead for the Terran player, but that's not going to last very long with 2 bases up right now for Protoss.
Yeah, those mules do help a lot, but Terran player is taking another base, and a bunch of Marines moving across the map right now. He might be looking to do a medevac coming out too, and a Stargate for our Protoss player, so curious to see what goes down. He might get a Phoenixes to deal with those Banshees that are hidden around the map, so might be doing that. And here the Marines do come in. They're going to come into the all these units. Force fields picking up.
Great force fields.
Yeah, you could pick up those Marines, but those Marines are just going unchecked, doing a bit of damage. That one Marine will get taken out, though. He did manage to keep a lot of his Marines, so if you look at that, units lost favoring the Protoss, but not by a lot.
Yeah, definitely. And you got to also account for the fact that a lot of those resources lost by the Protoss player were probes, and of course that translates to less income.
That is true, that is true. Looks like the units have 26 SCVs and 1 mule to about 30 probes. And there are 2 Banshees and 22 Marines, but I think there might be a drop going down. If you look at the bottom center of the map, there is a medevac moving out. Might do a drop in the back of the Protoss base. So, I want to watch out for that.
I mean, drops are usually very effective, but we see that, actually, this Banshee is coming in here, poking at that mineral line again. A couple of stalkers come to keep it away, but it did do a little bit of damage. However, he's usually, or was, keeping a couple of units back in the mineral line that could have stopped these drops, but he's actually choosing not to do that anymore.
And so and he did get that Phoenix out to try to pick up these Banshees, but he doesn't have the Observer. It's out of place, so the Banshee is going to go around unchecked. There's another Banshee just stationary right there. He might pick that off because it isn't cloaked. And I think, there's a drop going down right now. Check it out in the natural. Going to do a little bit of damage, get those probes out of the mineral line, but the Stalkers are going to hold that drop off. Ooh, he might be going back to do this. Oh my gosh, the Stalkers, all his army's out of place. There goes another drop, and the army is standing there. He's just picking it up right now, getting a lot of probe kills. Check the workers kill tab. I'm going to check that out real quick. Wonder what Let's see. Oh yeah, what is that? It's units. I think it's. I don't know where it is. I think it might be Control I. Nope. Control M. Nope, that's music. I'm just messing around at this point. Control W. No, I don't want to. Dang it! I disabled the UI. There it is. It's back. Okay, let's check that. Control R. There we go. Workers killed for that terrible. There's 27 workers killed, and it's still mounting higher. Those banshees are doing so much. That one banshee in the back is doing so much damage. However, our Protoss has only killed one worker, so definitely favoring the Terran player here with that workers killed.
Yeah, but as we can see, their harvester counts are relatively equal because the Protoss was on 2 bases much faster than the Terran player. However, we do have a massive pile of Marines here coming at the front, and I just don't see how Skills is going to be able to stop them from taking his natural. Yeah,
it looks like the entire Skizzle clan may not make it through this tournament. I mean, we saw D-Skizzle, I think, lose it. I think we might see Skizzle here lose it to S-Kane. I'm actually curious to see what league are these players. If anyone could private message me or Erratic and let us know what leagues these guys are, it'd be much appreciated.
And the natural is at 24 health. And it finally does go down.
Yep. Look at those stalkers were kiting a lot. Trying to pick up those. Oh, there's a robotics bit. We might see a Colossus come out, and the Protoss barely has enough to squeeze out one Colossus. He is getting a Colossus, and that could do so much damage if those Marines are clumped up like they are, but the Marines are retreating.
Yeah, of course, the Terran player realizing, okay, I did the damage that I wanted to do, now I'm just going to pull back, regroup, because he is in a commanding position, and when you're in this kind of commanding position, you don't want to commit yourself to some kind of attack that could cost you your lead.
That is true. That is true. Skizzle is chrono boosting out that Colossus. So once the Colossus comes out, there are so many Marines, and there are I think +1. Oh, wow! I think +1 armor is finished for our Protoss players. So those units can take so much damage that Colossus will just have more and more time to pick off units. And these Marines will just melt away. And he is getting that extended thermal lance, by the way.
Extended thermal lance is, of course, really important. Able to get your Colossus to stay back so it's not taking hits. It's really pivotal when you're fighting big groups of Marines, because if the Marines can get on the Colossus, they will kill the Colossus extremely fast. For these Marines are completely unupgraded. They don't even have stim packs.
Ooh, that's going to be pretty difficult. But there are medevacs to heal. I believe that if the Colossus is in good force with splitting up the army, so it's not really splitting it, but it's splitting it kind of in a V shape. There is going to be a drop in the main base. Brilliant.
Oh man, huge mistake bringing that Colossus forward. It takes massive damage and it does die. That is a crucial loss.
Yeah, he could have actually held this off if the Colossus had stayed alive. Now there is a drop in the main. I don't know how D-Skizzle is going to hold all this off. There are a few stalkers being warped in. But there is no Colossus to deal with this, so I don't know how he's going to pull through. We're probably going to see a GG any moment now. He should cancel that Nexus, by the way.
Yeah, he really should have canceled that Nexus, because it, of course, can't just be picked off by these Marines. But instead, our buddy S-Kane's trying to actually go for the throat here, and he does have a lot of Marines here compared to very low stalker count. He's going to be able to rip apart this mineral line at the very least.
There is a cannon in the back trying to help out these stalkers, and Zealous is being warped in too. I think Skizzle might actually hold this off again, but the Marines, I don't think they'll even have time to pick off this Nexus. If they do, the Zealous will just come in and kill them. And these stalkers do have a higher range than the Marines, but there are so many Marines being regrouped here. I don't know. It seems like a back and forth type deal with this. There is another Colossus being chrono boosted out. And we're going to see how this will go in I think the Terran will pick off this Nexus again.
Yeah, of course, that Nexus is going to fall once again. And look at the minerals tab. Our Terran player has over 2,000 minerals and almost 2,000 gas right now. He's got a massive amount of money. Really should be upgrading, building more stuff, but instead just, in cleanup mode.
Yeah, he should really be building more production facilities, like more barracks, pumping out way more units. He could actually take the game if he does that. The extended thermal lance is doing so much damage. You can see they're just like attacking the Marines time after time. We're going to see if actually, I think Skizzle might be in a position to push back. Let's check the units tab real quick. Only 20. Ooh.
Oh, that Colossus is just roasting those Marines.
But dude, if you check out the unit tab, the Marines are being built up, but if you look at the Colossus, every time the Colossus is damaged, the Marine count just melts down. Hopefully I think the Templar should get Vikings out. Maybe
definitely. Against those Colossus, you need a lot of Vikings. The Terran player is building up a bunch of Versus. He has 5, but 4 of them do not have any add-ons at all. Huge blunder here.
Yeah, oh, sorry, my bad.
Huge blunder to go with no add-ons. He really should be getting more add-ons, getting more production facilities, expanding, because he's just sitting on a massive amount of money, and the Protest player actually could come back and win this game because the Terran player is just not using his resource advantage.
That is true, and since he has so many resources, he could get like double upgrades going with 2 engineering base, but he's deciding not to do that. The Protest player is still on +1 armor, which does make a huge difference.
Yeah, of course, +1 armor is really effective against Marines.
Yeah, that is true. And the Colossus does 15 damage, but it has 2 attacks and the extended range, plus a +1 armor. So honestly, that's going to make it pretty threatening against 0-0 and Skizzle just like lol.
There is a massive amount of SCVs here just chilling at the front.
Did he just scan himself? I think he might scan himself to find an observer though. I was going to make fun of him for that. Oh well.
Gotta look for that little shimmering thing that is a dead giveaway of observers. And he's going for this all in. There's tons of SCVs on the way to the Protoss base.
The observer does see it coming though. And I think the Protoss may be able to hold this off. He can get a good amount of force. He'll split up the SCVs from all the other units. And he is putting down another pylon here. I don't think he's going to be going for an expansion. Ooh, here's the Colossus. Oh, there is a force field. Oh my god! Amazing force field right there. Fortunately, he needs to back up the Colossus and maybe do a little bit. Getting the Colossus on the edge might help, but I think the Templar actually might lose this game.
No, he's not going to lose, of course, because Kizzle is only on 1 base that has 1 mineral patch right now.
That is true. But the Terran player is not mining whatsoever. He just lost a bunch of SCVs. He only has 7 workers to Skizzle's 15. Well, if the Colossus does go down, though, that's going to be huge. And I think the Colossus will go down. Actually, maybe if he can get a good kiting out of that. Oh, wow, he's actually not going. He should target the Colossus. And the Colossus is in a really bad position. He probably will get picked off. Ooh, it's not.
He's actually luring them next to the Photon Cannon, which is going to help the Colossus defend. And, of course, these probes are going to be able to fight as well.
That is true. I think the Protoss player will hold off again, but it looks like the Terran player will pull through ahead in this match because look at all those Marines streaming in. 30 Marines to 1 Colossus and 4 SCVs. At this point, it's kind of like if the Protoss can keep holding off until the minerals run out for our Terran player, then he may actually win this.
So long as he has at least 1 probe left.
That is true. Ooh,
well, it looks like all the probes are dying.
Ooh, nice force field though. We're gonna be able to. Yeah, Colossus might get some extra shots on this Marines, and he is. Ooh, he needs to watch out. That medevac is gonna help the the Marines see the high ground. And I would actually. Ooh, there's gonna be a drop. Might go. Ooh, he's gonna go straight for. Ooh, actually not going for the Colossus. That's not a good idea. Should go straight for the Colossus with that drop. Could take it out. Oh, there's a drop, and I think this is going to be GG in about a second here. Erratic.
Yeah, it's going to be soon. That Colossus will fall to these massive amount of Marines. And there's just no way that Skizzle is going to be able to hold on for much longer.
I have to admire Skizzle's skill. If you look at his APM, it's like averaging around 200, but that's because he's only controlling like 1 unit, and that's Colossus. And he doesn't even have enough for another probe, so he only has a Colossus and 2 observers. So at this point, I think it's game over unless he can keep this Colossus alive and just keep doing.
And force it high. I mean, that's definitely a possibility right now.
Yeah. So the thing is, though, the Terran player does have 4 SCVs, so he's going to keep on mining. However, if he's not making more SCVs, and if he gets dangerously low on his mineral count, that might be a draw. If I see a stalemate here, that
he does have orbital commands, which of course means he's going to be able to lay down mules without SCV, so he'll be fine. This is definitely game over, and the Protoss player is just dragging it out for no apparent reason.
I mean, if he can, actually, I would give him like I'd give him like a candy bar if he can pull this through. Maybe like a nice candy bar. I don't know, something. Oh wow, all the Marines got picked off actually, but there's still 30 Marines on the map. Yeah, I think Ooh, only 150 minerals. Ooh, the Protoss is dead. I think the Colossus is gonna go down right now.
The Marines just can't get to